For more on how the chips fell across the city and what these results could tell us about the future, I spoke with pollster and political analyst Janet Brown earlier. Janet, how close to your inklings, your predictions, did things actually turn out in the Calgary ridings?
Well, I went into the night thinking that maybe there were 4 seats that were going to be competitive. I didn't necessarily think the Liberals were going to win them all, but I was watching 4. And then in the end, they only won 1 seat. So that was a bit surprising to me. I thought there was a chance Liberals may only win 1 or 2 seats, but actually Confederation as the only seat was a bit of a surprise to me. I actually thought McKnight and Skyview were going to be more competitive than they were.
And I mean, maybe not surprises, but some of the races were pretty close, maybe closer than some people would have thought. They were sort of flip-flopping back and forth between the Liberals and Conservatives in a couple of Calgary ridings throughout the night. Do you think this could be the new norm, these tight races, in a place where, you know, we're so used to seeing everything go blue?
Well, you know, it was still, I think you have to put it in perspective. Yes, it was flipping back and forth, but still really only in those 4 ridings we were keeping an eye on. So Calgary Centre has gone Liberal in the past. That was one that was flipping. We've had Liberals win in the Northeast, so Skyview and McKnight. So I think this isn't really a big, I think, you know, Alberta and Calgary went big for the Conservatives, and I just don't know that we're seeing a big trend change from the last election, and I don't know if there's anything for us to learn about the next election.
So there's nothing to learn about the potential, maybe, popularity or lack of popularity of Mark Carney, maybe in comparison to Justin Trudeau?
Well, you know, it was actually the largest vote that the Liberals have gotten in Calgary in a long time. So clearly Mark Carney is more palatable to Calgarians than Trudeau was. But this is still a Conservative town, and really only a small number of ridings were up for grabs. Most of the ridings were reporting early and were reporting clear victories for the Conservatives.
And let's zoom in on Liberal George Shahal, who lost his seat. You know, his riding and all local ridings actually had their boundaries redrawn before this election. And this was the first election that he was running in this new boundary riding. Do you think these line changes had any impact on the Calgary vote?
Well, certainly where George Shahal was running, there was a new riding added, Calgary Skyview, and he really had the choice of should he run in McKnight or should he run in Skyview because his riding was so changed so dramatically. But honestly, a lot of analysts thought both of those ridings had strong potential for the Liberals. So in choosing McKnight, it seemed like George Shahal was choosing the stronger option between the two of them. So it was a surprise to see him lose his seat. If there was only one man standing at the end of the night, I was expecting it to be George Shahal, not Corey Hogan.
And what do you think this result, a Liberal minority, might mean for talk of Canadian unity, Western separation?
Well, you know, Alberta was definitely having its conflicts with the federal government before this election. And this outcome doesn't really seem to change things very much. Before, the Liberals just weren't able to get any business done without an agreement with the NDP. It looks like it's going to be the Liberals trying to hang on to power with cooperation from the NDP or the Bloc Québécois. And, you know, and this may make Albertans even more frustrated that their interests are going to be represented. So if I were Mark Carney, I would do something very, very quickly to show that he's sensitive to the economic concerns of Albertans. Otherwise, I think Danielle Smith is really ready to be quite aggressive in pushing Alberta's agenda, and Carney might just want to try and sort of cut her off at the pass.
Okay, thanks for your insight, Janet.
Okay, thank you very much.